Guys, deluded. YouTube's N'Golo Kante. Arsenal 0, Manchester City 3, and just like last Sunday, they smack us up again. I mean, you can see why Manchester City only travelled down from Manchester to London this morning. You can see why, because we're light. So yeah, we lost 3-0. I believe against Manchester City alone, it's 9. We've conceded 9 in 3, so that's 3 goals a game. 3 goals a game. I'm not the best at maths, but that's pretty damn simple. 7 defeats in 2018. I believe we've lost 4 of the last 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 wins in the last 8 or something like that. So yeah, man, normal, innit? If you don't support Arsenal, you're more Arsenal give other fans bants 9 times out of 10, but this must be the peak period, the best season. I told you, look, from the end, from January to May, you got to be serious. This must be the best season for all the other fans of the football clubs that don't support Arsenal. Getting into the game, there's not much more to be said. We got ourselves handed to us at Wembley. We've had that twice since we've gone to Wembley now. We know we need to put in a performance. We know Wenger said these players are prideful. These players want to put in a performance. Again, these players were back to tweeting and all of these things, and then there was training yesterday. They got smacked. First 10 minutes, I mean, I even forgot about the team news. There's not much. For me, the only team news that really got me, Wilshere's out with an ankle knock, apparently. It's nice to see Holding still alive. He's back on the bench, as rubbish as he's been playing. Wells is into the side. Don't really think Mkhitaryan came back in. There's not really any much more shocks there. Kohler kept his place because Monreal's injured. But other than that, first 10 minutes, ironically, City got in behind. You saw from the beginning. I mean, they showed us on Sunday. You don't need to be an elite scout or anything to realise they're trying to hit Sane. It worked on Sunday. It's worked for anyone that's watched Arsenal. They're trying to target Bellerin, give it to Sane, whether it's behind Bellerin, whether it's over the top of him, whether it's doubling up on him and passing it around him. They're trying to do that from the off. Kun's getting in behind. Kevin De Bruyne is trying to find his radars for Sane. Well, like last Sunday, Carl Walker's overlapping. First 10 minutes, ironically, I thought we were going to have a bit of a chance, not because we're necessarily looking good. It's like we learned somewhat of a lesson from the Sunday where we got smacked. Players are running in behind. You saw Ramsey have an opportunity, I believe. Aubameyang, I believe, was ultimately ruled out for offside. Someone touched it, but you saw a man getting in behind and turning on the radars a bit. City were quality. They had a couple corners. City were all on top of us in the last, other than the first 10, in my opinion. We had a decent chance. Other than that, we had a couple efforts as well. Xhaka hit wide, Mkhitaryan hit wide, couple man hit wide. But other than the first 10 minutes, City showed levels in the first half. I'm not even going to do what I normally do and get into it and the micros and stuff. Just mad goals, man. Mad goals. I think Sane set up the first, right? Sane set up the first. Sane, like I said, they were just trying to hit Sane and you could see it. And this is where it goes into players being smart. Is not even on top of being smart. You played these men last Sunday. It's now down to centre-halves to shuffle across. It's now down to midfielders to drop in and help Bellerin. I mean, Xhaka is terrible. Sane just dances past 4 players, man. He dances past Xhaka, he dances past Bellerin. Mustafi's nowhere to be seen. Kohler eventually Sane slots it to Bernardo Silva. It's not really Kohler's fault, but he's caught flat-footed and then he's showing man inside. He slots it outside the area, he bangs it. If I'm critical, Cech could have read the experience that Cech has. He could have read that a bit more and covered his angles, but it's not Cech's fault by any stretch of the imagination. And considering that we were playing okay, and I want to don't get caught up on the words. I want to say okay, an improvement from last Sunday. And that's not hard to do, but you're seeing somewhat of improvement, and it is a kick in the teeth because we played a bit better. And you could say to a vague degree, it is the worst thing that could have happened. These players deserve it because they've been playing poor, but because of the form, because of the empty stadium, this team is shameless, and my club is very shameless in the fact they tried to say there's 58,000 in this in the stadium. The man there that actually managed to get to the Emirates, even though the club will blame it because of snow and stuff. I felt sorry for them. It's empty. The players are seeing that they're going to go behind. They're in a bit of a rut. It's the worst thing that could happen. Heads are dropping. You can see Koscielny trying to G-man up, but you can see heads dropping. And yeah, man. So I believe Bernardo got the first. Who got the second? For the 77th minute, his namesake David Silva, I believe. Am I right about this? Yeah, David Silva did score again. Counter attack. It's a lovely bit of play between Kun, Sane, and all of them involved. It's a great goal. They could have scored that against any team, but it's again against the run of play for us. They make it 27 minutes, it's 2-0, and it's game up, really. And there's a high chance it's going to be 3-0. They go and get Sane, eventually slots in the third. Again, it's poor defending. If we look back at the first and the second in particular, I'm not going to say it's necessarily Xhaka or Ramsey's fault, even though they're involved in that. but the less glamorous sides of being midfielders. We clearly know both of their midfielders, their strengths. Ozil was nowhere to be seen as well, but we know both their midfielders. If you were to say their strengths, not one of them, none of them, both of them do not have a defensive bone in their body, and you're not going to say anything defensive or anything to do with protecting your team or the darker arts of the midfield role. You're not going to say any of that with them. That being said, you need to do that. The second goal, I think it was Xhaka. No, it was Ramsey. The first goal, definitely Xhaka. It's too easy. It's too easy. Collectively throughout a team. When you saw City, what did you see from City? Man are trying to bring people down because they know what is going to happen. They don't want to make that mistake, whether it's their direct fault or not. Because they all, whether it's the striker or it's the defender, man take the clean sheets and the defeats to heart. You saw the difference between the two sides. Company, I thought they were forcing it, but Company said this is the game of the season for them. And you can see it. I'll get onto the second half. But even in the second half, we played much better. And again, I'll allude to that later. But you saw Pep, he was angry at his side. I'm not saying Wenger wasn't angry. Clearly he would be, as much as he needs to step down. Clearly he would be, and you don't necessarily have to shout to show that you care. But Pep is evidently more angry in the sense that they're losing the second half than the fact of Wenger. He didn't bring on a sub. But away from all of that, it's 3-0 in the first half, and it's game done somewhat. Aubameyang's chasing shadows. He's not getting service. It's more of the same. Our midfield is nowhere to be seen. They've got Gundogan. They've got Kevin De Bruyne. They've got David Silva. Kun had a very good game and he didn't even score today. They were just doing their thing. Their fullbacks had us on toast. I felt sorry for our fullbacks, man, because Kohler got stressed. Bellerin was getting finished. I think Kohler got finished more. He was no support. Wells was disappointed because at least with everything that Wells isn't good at, you'd think defensively he'd pattern. It didn't happen. 3-0, and we're going into half-time. It's 3-0, and we're at the point there's not much more you can say about Arsenal. We've all seen it. My friends are here texting me as I record this, thinking, I'm not going to say their names, but just know when if Spurs get any L's, if Liverpool get any L's, if Newcastle get any L's, if United get any L's, them four friends, they know who they are, and I can see messages, I'm coming for you. Not because I hate them clubs, but I'm chewing too much L's, man. And yeah, 3-0, I'm there thinking, blood, I've had planting skin that's been harder to open than Arsenal's defence, man. Like, what's going on? Like I've already spoken about Ramsey. Like, we've been down this road before. It's shocking that is 3-0 in the sense that no matter how many times you see this happen to Arsenal, it never ceases to amaze you how ridiculous it actually gets. And it's also shocking in the sense that historically Arsenal are a big club, and I say that slightly, so it will shock you. But should it shock you? We were here literally last Sunday. We didn't lose 3-0, but we were here in terms of the performance the Saturday before that against Spurs. In fact, last Thursday we were here talking about performances. We've been down the 3-0 route. Hell, we were here last season with the Palaces and stuff like that, down to the defeats this season against Stoke, against Watford, against United. What I also saw in particular in the first half as well, and it's understandable, not because I'm condoning it, but with the context, nervous defending. Man are trying to clear the ball. The ball's not coming out of the sky. Man are playing hot potatoes. I saw it on a couple of times. Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, not to namesake because they all did it. Man are doing these silly passes out of the area. Man are failing to clear the lines. Like, I don't know. Like, clearly the boys have been Wenger's lost them. But away from Wenger losing them and Wenger needing to step down, like, what's going on? Like, man are not smart. It doesn't matter if it's Mustafi. It doesn't matter if it's Bellerin. It doesn't matter if it's Kohler. It doesn't matter if Xhaka, Ramsey. There's no smartness. Like, man are making mistakes. Man are just moving like rookies in this thing, like Rebos. Like, I was bewildered. Like, honestly, second half, cool, credit where it's due. The game's done at this point. You played a bit better. We could say we won the second half based that Pep was making a lot of changes and he was getting angry, and we had more possession and them things there. But that doesn't transmit to 3 points. We're still on 40 odd points. Top 6 for those of you that were still optimistic is clearly dead. And how Wenger can cling on to this job, I don't know. I'm past the point of being angry and getting emotional and animated, people, man. Like, nobody loves Arsene Wenger more than me, you know. But if you really love this club, you would have stepped down. You're having a hard time differentiating what is good for Arsenal and what is good for the club. You've lost the boys. If you've lost, don't get me wrong, I'm not excusing these poor performances away from the manager. These players are putting in crap performances that shouldn't get condoned. I brought out a video about consequences this very day. But Wenger, ultimately, you're responsible for what's on the field. You're responsible for how the team looks. Our team is a reflection of the manager. And if it's not, you've lost them, which brings me back to my main point. You need to step down. Wenger, it hurts me. You have tainted your legacy to a degree. I will still hold you in high regard. And I'll remember this bad stuff. But on the first surface, the good historically outweighs the bad. But you need to step down now. Like, I know you don't want to, but you need to. Like, you need to see what is best for the club and what is best for you. And because you've been here so long, that's very much been ingrained. But you need to. Whether it's you can't motivate these players, you can't improve them drastically. You can give them little tips and stuff, but dramatic improvement. Whether it's Xhaka and Mustafi, you can't work with them. You can't build systems. You can't do a lot of stuff. And I'm not condoning a lot of performances today. Everybody was crap, but in particular, I wasn't. You guys know I love Ozil. I was not happy with Ozil. I was not. Ramsey better second half. Ramsey's a quality player, but he did not put in a performance today. Xhaka, we didn't put in performance today. Mustafi, for the stuff, he didn't put performance today. Koscielny, the whole side, check, nervous again, nervy play. I hail you up, even though it was 3-0 and the game was dead at that point. You made a bad boy save from Kun, and I think you made a couple other saves here and there, but you were nervous. Like, people, the ball playing out from the back, you know against City they're going to press you high, so that needs to be on point. Hot potato, scared, and when you wasn't, there was a couple of times you could have collected it, and you're leaving it to your centre halves. Like, there was one time you could have collected it. If it went off an Arsenal player and you picked it up and it would have been a free kick, fair enough, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that. You could have picked it up and relieved the pressure. You got scared, and I think, was it Mustafi, panically tried to clear it, and it didn't lift off the floor. Thank to God the ref said that it was offside or something like that. Shout out to Sane, man. Sane, I told you, man, I believe he can be the best player single-handedly in the Premier League. And shout out to Bernardo Silva, I believe he can be the best creative player. City, they showed they didn't have to be out of first gear, ultimately. We were light work, we were a snack, man. Capri Suns have lasted longer than Arsenal trying to fight there, man. Like, it was shocking. It was abysmal. And see, the papers even had enough. They had enough. Things are dropping. Like, there's not much more to be said, man. Brighton might as well smack us. They're going to smack us. I really can't understand how certain kids don't get played now, because there's nothing to say from this season. I thought last season was a write-off. This season's a write-off. With the way Wells was playing, I'm not even going to get into it. I don't want to get angry. With the way Wells was playing, how Nketiah, regardless of if you think he's good, he's ready to lead the line or not, how he didn't get on for Welbeck, I will never know. And it's these sort of decisions as to why Arsenal was here. Wenger, Pep Guardiola, of course, Pep is much better than Wenger in the sense that he's won it all like that at a young age. But Wenger, once upon a time, you was Pep. You was that innovative foreign coach with mad football and stuff like that. You haven't done that. And what pains me the most is, even before you went to this new level of mediocrity, which we didn't see 5 years ago or so, yeah. One thing you always said about Arsenal, regardless of if we had teams good enough to win the league or frail or whatnot, yeah, we always had players that were sought after other clubs. There's no winners here. There's no difference makers. There's no galvanizers here, if that's even a word. There's no players that are wanted by any other clubs. Like, I mean, you can force it with Ozil and Aubameyang and Lacazette if you want, in the sense that they can get into other clubs, but back in the days, like not even back in the days, fairly recently, when we had Nasri, they all went to these clubs. Nasri, Cesc, Van Persie, insert your other examples. We had man that you could say they could get into some of the best sides in the world, or some of them want them. And that also shows you've fallen off in many different ways, Wenger. Please move upstairs. Or ideally, you make a clean break from the club, but move upstairs. We need you in them little roles there where when Sanye and Middlestat have completed the move and the X, Y, Z, whatever player you want is coming to Arsenal, you sit them down, gas them up. You got that little voice that sounds wavy, but as for a title challenge, you can't. When you signed a new deal, I reread your August statement, or whenever you signed that new deal. You said the key is to mount a new challenge and all of these things for the new Premier League title, which was this season coming. What has happened? You're getting worse. Like, you're getting worse. While other teams were patterning up defensively, learning from their mistakes, you were playing Maitland-Niles centre half in China. This is what's Wagwan for the club. Like, this is Wagwan. Like, I've got nothing more to say, guys. Delu Laguna, I'm signing out. Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0, and we move on to Brighton if we can move on. I'm out.